Here, I'll do it for you again, and I'll give you the backstage view. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So one behind the other. Can't come through the middle or over the ends. So right in the center. Watch. Fire.
Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? The Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
All right. We are in a very special episode of Line for Line. I have a very, very special, funny guest in the building today.
Special.
I have Nathan Tricky Allen in the building. Nathan, how are you today, sir?
I'm hungover. I'm good.
Yeah, man. Just tell me a little bit about you, sir.
Trying to fix it though.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate the Blue Moon. This is one of my favorite beers as well. So just give us a little bit about you, sir.
Well, I'm not sponsored by Blue Moon. I'm a magician. I do card tricks and jokes, rated R magic shows for adult company parties, corporate events, comedy clubs, things like that.
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell. Okay, and we're done.
How did you get started with comedy and magic? Like, how did you combine it?
Well, I started off as a magician when I was a kid. I got interested in magic probably the same way that most people do, magic kit or a book for your birthday or whatever. And then when I was like 12, I started doing actual shows like for money, for birthday parties around other neighborhood kids. And I remember my first show, I charged $10 and they gave me 15. And I'm like, oh, I'm rich.
Yeah.
But the next show, I charged 15 and they gave me 15 and cake. So it's just been a slow escalation. So I kept doing magic shows. My show then was a lot different from what you saw last night.
Mm-hmm. Dude, don't even get me started on last night. I totally did not expect all of that. I came in like
what
ready.
Were you expecting?
So I came in, I was like, this is gonna be like a 10 out of 10, But then as I get there, I'm watching how you're interacting with the crowd as well. It was like a 20 out of 10 easily, That's like, I feel like that would be the hardest part right there, is to engage with the crowd, because me, for instance, I think that I'm funny, but I think if I got on stage, I would just like fall flat on my face.
Freeze up.
Yeah, because you have to get the crowd engaged as well too. And just how you came on the stage as well, like down from your entrance to like how you opened up, it was just perfect.
Thank you.
Yes,
you
even your opening act even had me laughing as well too. Like,
yeah,
that was a great experience. That was actually my first time being able to watch one of the guests that I'm having, at their profession as well too. So I definitely want to say thank you for having me last night.
Yeah. Well, that's the interaction with the crowd and that kind of thing. That's something you can only learn with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, and that's kind of how the comedy thing happened, because I found that around sometime like in my late teens, early 20s, I found that I was just starting to heckle myself during my serious magic show, but I was just like blurting out things that like I'm thinking somebody who's watching a magic show and is trying to make fun of the magic show would be saying in their head.
Yeah.
So I heckled myself, and it just like, oh, I got to laugh. And I realized people are liking the shows better and better the more they laugh.
Mm-hmm.
The magic is fine, and it's great to watch a serious, amazing magic show, but if you can giggle your off at the same time, I mean, that's a combination that I really like.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time where you were on stage and the crowd was not interacting how you expected them to react?
Yep. Sometimes like the late show on a Friday, sometimes they're just a little too drunk at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they're just, oh man, where was I? It was recently. It was a show in, I'm not going to say where, but it was like a showroom in a bar, and I have never seen a more drunk crowd during or after my show. After the show, I witnessed 3 different people fall down.
No way.
Yeah, they were that up. Can I say up on this?
You can say it. You got to.
But you'll bleep it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll save some editing time.
Yeah.
Censor myself. But one of those 3 people that fell down was sitting in a bar stool and fell out of the bar stool
while you were on stage.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is afterwards when I was just hanging out with the people. And it was amazing. I mean, I drank, obviously. It's the middle of the afternoon and I brought beers.
Yeah.
But you know it's bad when I'm looking around at everybody going, I think I'm the most sober one here.
Yeah.
And I've been drinking since noon.
Yeah. How is it that one recovers from a stage like that where the crowd isn't reacting how you?
Oh, just a dead crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's usually not the crowd. It's usually the circumstances of the performance. So the sound could be bad. The lighting could be bad. Maybe the ticket price was too low and people either didn't show up because they assumed the show was going to suck. That's why free shows never work for what I do. Even if the club owner just wants to eat it and eat the cost of me and give it to his customers for free as appreciation or whatever, it still almost never goes well because people see free or cheap show and they're like, I'm not going to waste my time, get a babysitter, go out and be bored to death. So oddly enough, the higher the ticket prices go, usually the more and more people come in, which is counterintuitive, but kind of neat. But how do you recover from a bad show? Just move on. Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
And just do a great show the next time.
I could really appreciate that because that was actually advice that I was asking for myself because there's times where I'll do a podcast, and I feel like it wasn't like my best work, and me, I'm my biggest critic, I'm my biggest critic, and I just get down on myself and I get in a slump and then I'm like,
you get down on yourself. Did you remove your ribs to?
I get a little bit sad.
Marilyn Manson.
I get a little bit sad or depressed and I'm just like, man, I need to figure out my life, because that's not me, I'm better than that, So.
Yeah, but one episode or one live performance isn't life or death, and you got to remember that the next day people aren't going to give a shit.
Yeah. So magic, what is your favorite trick when it comes to magic? Maybe you can teach me or show the crowd at home. Maybe.
My favorite, I don't think I have one. It's like asking who's your favorite kid.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other performers I really enjoy watching.
How does one learn magic? Because that's something that I always look at. I'm like, how did someone learn magic? Because this tricks that you were doing on stage, I literally was ready to get out of my seat and say, "How did he do that?" But I don't.
That would have been great.
Yeah, I didn't want to be the only one, and people looking at me like, "Who is this guy? Get this guy out of here!"
Right.
Yeah.
And you're probably the only black guy here too, right?
I looked around and I was like, "Oh my god!"
They don't just yell at movies; they yell at live shows.
Yeah, I was.
That would have been super great. I would have enjoyed that.
When you poured the water in the sack, like I was just sitting there baffled. I was like, I saw stuff going into it, but then I was like,
or did you?
There's nothing in there. Like, oh my gosh,
magic show.
Oh my god! And then when you pulled the razors out of your mouth too, I was just like, this guy has what it takes. This guy has.
You know what's crazy? I give the razor blades back. Are they still? Oh, maybe they did leave them. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So
oh yeah. Let's see.
The only time in maybe a decade I've seen the razor blades still there after I give them back to the audience member.
Yeah.
Usually, I don't know what people are thinking. They actually take them with them.
And they're real life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. It must
don't
be,
try this at home.
I was gonna say it must be painful to learn that.
It can be. I've made a couple of slip ups.
Oh no.
Yeah. Tongues heal really fast though.
Yeah, because of the fly. So that's one thing that I actually heard that like back in the day that people would put like razor blades under their tongue and everything like that too. So I'm pretty sure it's something along those lines.
Is that just like emo kids that do that? Or?
Well, I first saw it in the movie when Tupac Shakur did it. He like flicked the razor blade from under his tongue.
I remember seeing that clip. What movie was that?
That was that was not Juice. Yes, that was Juice.
Is that the one Juice. With Janet Jackson? Was she in that one?
No, she wasn't in that one. It was either Juice or Above the Rim. One of the two. I think it was Above the Rim. Yeah, it was Above the Rim when he flicked the razor blade from under his tongue. And when I saw that, I was a kid. I was like, that's pretty bad. I wish I could learn how to do that. But me, I'm a wimp. I was like, I would never put a razor
you probably
blade.
Don't want to.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to put a razor blade under my tongue.
Especially as a kid. It was probably a prop razor blade too.
Yeah. Oh,
rubber or something.
Now I'm just dumbfounded as well too now.
See?
Yeah.
I use real razor blades. Tupac, what a
oh my
god. Fake razor blade.
That's so crazy. Even your opening act too, like bringing it back to that. Like you had everything down.
He was quirky.
Yeah.
I liked him.
And like I said, with this being my first time being able to come and just watch everything too, I was impressed from the time I walked in to the time I left, So like I told you, I avoided you after because I was like, I want to save all of this content, all of this talk for the podcast, because that's what I think. I'll talk about everything, and I'll get on the podcast. I'm like, wait, so now what do we talk about? Because I just feel like everything just came spilling out yesterday when we talked.
Saw you walk away. I just assumed it was because I was a weird kid and you were canceling the podcast.
Oh, no, definitely not that. I definitely needed you on here as well too. So can you just tell us a little bit more about like your YouTube as well too? Because when I look at your YouTube, all I see is like love in the comments. You know, like everyone's just like praising your work.
Everybody's real nice.
Yeah,
It's not a lot of, but I also don't put any very many like controversial or type things out there either. I mean, when Siegfried and Roy first had that attack, you know, a decade or whatever ago, I put something out on there, and then people were like, "Oh, not cool, man, boo." I did the same thing right after Michael Jackson died, but those videos aren't on my YouTube anymore. I'm like, I don't want this kind of negativity out there. Yeah. But yeah, most of my subscribers and viewers are very, very kind people.
Yeah. So how is it that you learn to turn your filter on and off in the comedy world? Because when I look at comedians, like that I watch, like let's say Bernie Mac, Red Fox, Eddie Murphy, they were like raw, like, you know, their
especially
content.
Red Fox, and TV viewers did not realize that.
Yeah,
and they'd go see him live, and they're like, "What the just happened?"
Yeah, just some of the stuff that they would say and do as well too. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like, how do you decide when to turn the filter on and off?
As far as blue material,
like with the material,
it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like any other social situation. You know, you can tell a dirty joke to a friend when you're sitting at a bar, but you probably wouldn't do that across the table at Thanksgiving with your grandma sitting right there. It's just, you know, it's circumstantial, I suppose.
Because when I think of people who can get away with speaking about like a lot of circumstances and situations, it's comedians, you know, because like when you're a comedian, you have to find like the bright side of a lot of things and find the funny in things, you know. So it's like they can get away with speaking on a lot of things.
And because they do that, they can introduce a lot of pretty dark topics and pretty screwed up stuff from pretty screwed up places.
Yeah.
And give a new interesting or funny spin on it. I think stand-up comedy is probably like the last remaining actual free speech outlet, you know, because even YouTube get demonetized left and right if the advertisers don't like what you have.
Oh, really? So
that, yeah. I used to do quite well on my YouTube, just for the ad revenue was paying my bills.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And but then adpocalypse happened. They called it. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
They changed all the advertising algorithms, and a lot of really huge channels like totally went down the drain.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, well, this was fun, but I don't know if there's nothing monetarily happening because of this, I'm not going to put as much effort into it. So I just kind of stepped away, walked away from the YouTube, and focused on doing live shows instead.
Yes, sir. Now, do you miss YouTube a little bit, because that brings like
it's fun. I mean, I do like editing videos and things like that, but I don't miss all the time that I put into it.
Yeah, it just become a hassle, huh? Oh wow.
You're known as more of an adults only entertainer. What does that mean in the world of magic?
Well, it means I'm shunned by most magicians. Is what it means.